For more, let's bring in Fred Teng. He is the president of the America-China Public Affairs Institute. Fred, nice to have you back with us.
Nice to have you.
All right, so the president is saying that it's Beijing that may have derailed the summit. He noticed a change of attitude since Kim Jong-un had that second secret visit to China. Is China to blame here? What's China's role in this?
I don't know. I think, first of all, we all know it's the White House who canceled the meeting. And today, North Korea actually responded and say, welcome, we can soon start this meeting anytime.
Well, they canceled the meeting because apparently they hadn't heard from the North Koreans. So
See, I don't know. I think the North Koreans have some harsh words for United States because United States was going to hold a drill that especially North Korea is very sensitive about the airplanes flying over them. They don't mind the regular drills, and in fact, they say so. But negotiation is always going to be harsh words. There's no point to cancel a meeting.
Is the sentiment, though, that China sort of brought this Pyongyang development as a bargaining chip in the bigger trade conversations with the U.S.? Because that's what the White House is contending.
Because I've been traveling to China quite a lot, talking to a lot of policy experts and scholars. I don't see China, in terms of North Korea, they really want North Korea and United States to resolve the issue. Because one of the things is about U.S. sanctions, and everybody abide by that. They would like to see trades going on with North Korea, with everybody else, so that would be relaxed. But as long as the United States and North Korea are having conflicts and differences, that's not going to be relaxed.
Fred, what is the ideal scenario for China here? How does it want this potential summit to play out, and what results would be the best for Beijing?
I think the ideal, not so much for Beijing, but for the world, is that President Trump and President Kim should meet each other. The reason is that they are the only two can resolve this issue. Everybody else only playing a supporting role. And for negotiation, it's not one meeting can resolve all of the issue. It would take time. It would take 5 years, 10 years to resolve all of those issues. But at least they can relax the tension. And I think that's very important.
But you don't think that Beijing wants to have a bigger supporting role, if nothing else, that it was maybe feeling a little bit left out of this process? And certainly the public style of the meeting is not very Chinese. It's a contrary to Chinese culture, which prefers a more subtle, behind-the-scenes approach than President Trump's big grand meeting and Twitter updates of what happened in between.
In fact, I was there in Beijing on the opposite side of the lane when Mr. Kim come in. And you're right, it's not a Chinese style. It's a North Korean style. They would like to show the world that they're meeting with all the leaders in the world. This is something that it's a new turn for their policies or for their positions. Is they're meeting with South Korea, they're meeting with China. I think there's others that they're meeting as well. I think Mr. Kim wants to play a global leadership role, but his emphasis is going to be on economic development. I think that it is quite clear that North Korea is a nuclear-capable country. They might not have the arsenal, but they're capable of doing so. But they don't need to have the weapons. They just have the capability. And what they want to do is to get the respect and also doing the trade and economic development.
And they would denuclearize completely for that economic development, you think, and the respect, because the president has indicated he'll guarantee regime safety, and he offered a golden olive branch in terms of economic prospects.
In these days, most countries does not want United States to guarantee its safety. It wants to guarantee its own safety. And I think that in terms of United States coming in and telling any country like a child, I don't think they will accept that position and that posturing. But you have to look at North Korea just release all the prisoners that the United States want. North Korea just tear down all of their nuclear sites and they invited people to watch, and then President Trump canceled the meeting. So in terms of that, I think it's a little bit erratic in terms of our own policy.
All right, well, there were some disputes about how relevant that nuclear testing facility was, but in any regard, let's move on to the bigger trade issue here. And the U.S.'s big problem is the Chinese practices with regards to intellectual property and maintaining that China doesn't do enough to protect infringement or to crack down on counterfeits. And of course, there's also the issue of the forced technology transfers, if you will, for companies looking to have access to the Chinese market. Now, we did have Premier Li Keqiang in March promising to do better on that. He promised to protect the rights of foreigners investing in its economy. So there is a will, it seems, from Beijing to tackle this. Yes. Where do things stand?
Well, I think that China is trying to open up its market, but it's not going to open all of its market immediately. And in terms of the technology or intellectual property infringement, I'd be asking all my friends who are making the acquisition, I said, did you just hear from a media or you know a case of a company that actually point to an actual case? So far, I have not heard from any actual case, rather just that saying that China is doing that.
Companies have complained for decades, not just American companies, European companies, but particularly in the semiconductor industries, in the battery industries. I know that it's not an official Beijing policy, or at least Beijing doesn't acknowledge it, but companies around the world have been complaining about this.
Well, battery, the Chinese company just bought this a number of years ago of this battery company in the United States. What they're doing is actually doing acquisition, and as a result, they also acquire the technology that comes along with the acquisition. But in terms of technology transfer, and that is a way for a company to negotiate in terms of market access. Now, if they don't want to go in, they don't have to go in. I mean, so, you know, these are just between companies in terms of their negotiations. So it's up to the company. Just like Chinese companies, if they come in, they have to abide by United States companies in terms of their offers and so forth. If they cannot abide by that, then they shouldn't come in either.
All right. Well, a lot to discuss. Unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there. We'll have you back, Fred Teng. Always good to have you with us, President of the America-China Public Affairs Society. Thanks for being with us.